Jesus, just started off a new week, but just kind of get your final thoughts on that game at RSL.
Yeah, I think that the team, the coaching staff know that we could have gotten out of there with at least a point. I think that every game in this season, we have to learn from it. We know how difficult it is to play on the road, and so we have to just take the positives, learn about maybe the negatives and the things that we can improve in, and apply it to this game. We know that St. Louis plays a similar formation to RSL, where they're building in the back of three and then having their midfielders pop out wide. And so, how can we do things differently than ourselves so we don't make the same mistakes?
In that particular game, it seems you guys have a lot of possession, but maybe what needs to change to make it a little bit more purposeful when you guys have possession?
Yeah, I think that I think a lot of the mistakes that we did came from like maybe the right side where maybe I was dropping and then they were having an overload on the right side, having two guys in the pockets and pinning three, and so we didn't have enough pressure on maybe the left center back or left side center back, and so that kind of didn't help much, Osaze or Albert to get pressure on the ball. And so I think something that we can improve on is maybe being a little bit more aggressive, especially because we have athletic players, and so we can bet on our players. We can bet on the 1v1, and so I think that's something we can learn, and that can help us in the attack because we'll be much higher if we do win the ball. We'll have better positioning to attack the goals, and so I think maybe that's something we can learn from.
How important is leadership in addition to taking accountability from last game as you kind of look ahead to this weekend's match?
Yeah, I think it's important. I think we have a lot of guys here with a lot of experience, with a lot of years under the belt, a lot of games, and so I think it's learning from the games and just moving on. I think this is a long season. We know that games on the road are difficult, and so they're not going to be easy. And so each game is going to be a little bit different with different challenges, different environments, and so having leaders in the team who can tell you like, hey, make sure that we fix this up so that we don't make the same mistakes and then move forward. We try not to stay on it too much because then you're overthinking and then it's not good. And so the leaders do a really good job on making sure that we're all tuned in for the next opponent, next match, and moving on quickly.
Is there any particular players that stand out that kind of guide the younger players to kind of move on and look ahead and have a different outlook versus thinking about the past?
Yeah, obviously we have Steph, Christian, who have been in the league for a while, but then you have some of the younger guys, Alex, Albert, who lead by example and lead by the way they train, and so I think it kind of motivates the young guys to keep pushing and not to stay too much on maybe mistakes that we made on the game. And so thankfully we have a team who support each other and who have a lot of commitment to each other, and so it makes it easier to believe and trust one another.
What could you say about Osaze De Rosario? Last game, only 16 touches, having some difficulties, maybe getting more engaged. What needs to happen to get him more involved?
No, I think he's doing good. I think that it's still getting used to maybe the playing, a lot of he's a big guy, so they're gonna maybe be a little tougher on him, maybe a little bit more fouls and stuff like that. And so it's a learning opportunity for him. And so we're all excited that we have him on our side because he's a tough forward to mark. And so sometimes in training where when the other guys are marking him, it's very tough. He'll get out of tricky situations, and so I think the more minutes he gets, the more touches he gets, the more opportunities he gets, he's going to get more comfortable and being out there with the guys. He's going to get used to the movements. It's not easy to just go out there and know exactly where Albert and I are going to play the ball or where to be, and so. The more opportunity he gets, the easier it's going to get for him.
What are your early thoughts on St. Louis and what challenges they present?
Yeah, obviously their fans are number one. They pack out their stadium and they're a good influence. We just came out from playing a 3-back or 5 in the back, and so that's something that we can take positively. That we know how to fix up and how to be better at that. And so that's something they got new coaches, new everything, and so it's a new style that they're trying to implement. And so how do we accommodate that? How do we get used to that in the early stages of the game? And know how they're building out, how they're pressing, and what type of game they were trying to play. If it's a long ball game or if it's building out the back, and so we can fix the way that we press or just figure out the game that best fits us.
When you have a mid-game like you do upcoming against Vancouver and CCC, what's your thoughts on rotation, keeping same lineups? I mean, those are coach's decisions, but your thoughts on what that should look like or what that would look like?
Yeah, no, like you said, I think there are coaches' decisions, and I think both games are important. I think both games are important, and we have enough good squad that we can put whoever is on the field and get a result. And so we're excited to start CONCACAF again. We know that every international competition is important, but also like a lot of the players have said and the coaching staff have said is that we're trying to get new trophies. We're trying to get maybe the supporter shield, and so that starts now. And so making sure that we can get points on the road is important. And so both games are important, and whoever's on the field at the moment is going to do the best to get a result. And I know we have a deep enough squad to get results.
All right.
Thanks, guys.